Hey guys, Brody here with Squids Pressure Washing LLC, Kansas City's highest rated pressure washing service and a veteran owned business. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about the last video I did on increasing referrals and repeat business overnight. Somebody reached out and asked if they could buy the communication schedule as well as the scripts that I use for communicating how to set expectations for house washes or other pressure washing jobs, all the way to requesting a review in person and via text, which has been the best way I've found to get reviews. I've used Broadly, I've used Nice Job. Broadly was $200 a month, and I just was not impressed with the return I was getting on those services versus asking in person and sending a follow-up text that was somewhat personalized to those customers. The way I think I'm going to do the communication schedule and the actual scripts for the gentleman that wants to buy them is via Patreon. I started a Patreon account a couple weeks ago, and I think I'm going to get him as the first person to sign up for the $20 a month subscription, which is once a month, 1 hour coaching session where he tells me a little bit about his business and what he's struggling with, and I try to help him the best I can. But 15 minutes of that, we go over something that he can add into his business, including communication schedules, requesting reviews, finances, you name it, whatever is on the agenda for that month. But I think that's how I'm going to do it. I'll put a link below for you guys to check out that Patreon account if you're interested. And the next thing I will say is a little bit more about Patreon here in just a second. All right, had to take a look at my notes real quick. So the Patreon account, I have it set up so that Patreon subscribers will have access to those documents and scripts, as well as some of the higher level subscription accounts. People will be able to actually come out to Kansas City for 1 or 2 days to build a skid, weld ladder racks and reel racks to a trailer. Whatever they want to do, they buy the materials and I supply the space and the labor to show them how to do that and help them do that. And I'm trying to frame that in such a way that it is cost efficient for people with similar businesses to me, and I'll speak on the way my business is structured here in just a minute. But I'm trying to price that so that it falls into a price window that is less than 1 house wash per month. And I think that for me is reasonable, because if I can help you get 10, 12, 15, 20 house washes a month, then that is a wise investment of finances and time for both of us. So I'll give you a little bit more information on that here in just a second. Let me check my notes again, and we'll talk a little bit more about the structure of my business. All right, so we'll talk a little bit about the structure of my business and the way that I have my business set up and have been gradually working more and more toward and have achieved it at this point is semi-retirement via a pressure washing business. I'm 35 and I am essentially semi-retired, and that is all because of the way I've structured my business and finances. And we'll talk a little bit about that if you're interested in some of these coaching sessions if you are a Patreon subscriber. But as of right now, I barely work 4 full days during pressure washing season. Christmas light season's a little bit different because there's so much demand in such a small window to basically earn about 30% of my annual revenue in a month and a half. So it's just kind of a no-brainer to work really hard for a month and a half to have the rest of the season off, 7, 8 months, or part-time basically, and then be off completely from Thanksgiving to the beginning of March. So that's how I have my business structured. It's not interesting to me to add 1, 2, 10, 20 employees or 5, 10, 15 trucks, because I'm not interested in the kind of headache that will bring. I am a lot more interested in taking vacations and enjoying the time that I have with my lovely girlfriend and her daughter. We've had an opportunity to go to Colorado this year, had an opportunity to go to Eureka Springs, Arkansas, which is a cool place, do some camping around Roaring River State Park, as well as somewhat regular date nights where we do things like axe throwing or go to museums or bowling, a lot of pool, shooting pool, dinner at restaurants that we're not typically checking out. It's been a really good year, and I think I've worked a lot less than I haven't worked, which has been really nice. So that's kind of where I'm at as far as my business goes. So I don't know that I'm the best coach to hire if you're looking at somebody to help you with employee issues. If you're looking at using subcontractors on bigger jobs so that you can take a paycheck and you guys don't have to do the work, that I can help with. The other thing I can help with is marketing, sales, customer service, capturing reviews, requesting reviews, communications. Communications is absolutely huge. So those are the things that are kind of my wheelhouse. I did spend 3 years in one of the top sales programs in the country when I was in finance, and regularly charged 30% higher than my local competitors. So I think I've got enough knowledge to be able to help people get there if that's interesting to them. And I think I could help larger businesses do that as well if that's interesting to them. I'm just not the guy that you want as a coach if you're constantly having employee problems, because I think employees are mostly a headache and it takes more time. You've got to work 40 hours in order to make sure that they have 40 hours of work so they can feed their family, and that's just not a responsibility that I want to take. So if you guys are interested, I'll put a link to the Patreon account below. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. That would be really, really helpful. That way I know. Feedback is always good. I love the feedback, positive, negative, indifferent. It's really helpful to me to know what kind of content to put out, as well as how best to help you guys in the industry raise the bar, as well as back out of your business if you want to back out of your business a little bit and not work yourself to death. So if you're interested in semi-retirement, as well as locking down your market in the pressure washing industry, I'd love to help if I can. Feel free to like, subscribe, check out Patreon, and I'll help you the best I can. And again, if you guys want to come out to Kansas City, if you're not a Patreon member, we do have a fellow that's coming out in January. He's paying $600 a day to come out, and that's to build a trailer from scratch. Well, build a pressure washing rig on a trailer from the ground up, and he's coming out for 3 days. And he did the math, and he's still going to save a couple $1,000s on building that himself with me, with my tools in my shop, over purchasing a pre-built skid. So looking at a couple different options to help you guys. Might cost a little bit of money to make more money, and it might cost a little bit of money to save a lot of money, which is the only goal, but also, again, to raise the bar so that you guys are doing the right thing for your customers and your customers rave about you. Because at the end of the day, the more fans you have, the better off you are. Word of mouth is huge. So like, subscribe, let me know what you guys think in the comments.